Another Duly Noted Podcast comes to you from the Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill in Celebration Point. Okay, and welcome into another Duly Noted Podcast. Of course, as always, presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. I hope everybody had as interesting a week as I did, or weekend, I should say, as I did. I had a blast this weekend. Friday night, went to the High Dive to see Mike Campbell, Stan Lynch, 40% of the founding members of the Heartbreakers. What a great concert! It was really good. If you have listened to any of it on the on people's iPhones and again, that's so annoying. You go to a concert today, and sometimes you're like, I can't see because a guy's got his phone. Watch the concert. You went to this concert to see it live, but no, I got to get it up. I got to get it on Facebook. Drives me crazy. Anyway, hey, in my day, we didn't have phones. We would call somebody from a payphone and say, listen to this. I actually did that once. I went and saw Bob Dylan in Nashville, and I was in the bathroom, and they had a payphone in there, and I called friends of mine that were really big Bob Dylan fans because the music was coming in. I don't think they really got the full measure of. Instead of phones, you just saw. Yeah. You just saw that. Yeah. All right. So anyway, that was a great Friday night with my wife, and thanks to Scott Carter for hooking us up with tickets. We did buy him all his beers, all one or two of them that night. It was a lot of fun. Saw a lot of people there, and then Saturday really had just a kind of a chill out day and. Enjoyed the Derby, watched a movie, and then we actually watched the Doctor Strange with Spider-Man because we were going the next day, 11 o'clock showing, by the way, we went to see the new Doctor Strange movie, which I would go with on a 1 to 10, I would go with about a 6. It was okay. It was good. I like all the Marvel stuff. There was a lot going on, though. I mean, it's just too much going on. How many universes can you be in? I keep getting confused by that. But anyway, I'm not going to give away anything. A lot of cool cameos in that, though. I will say that. And then, of course, came over here, actually, for dinner with, or lunch, dinner, brunch, I guess you would say, but it wasn't a brunch menu here at Spurrier's, and we had a blast as well. I think Karen had a good Mother's Day, and that's the main thing. I wanted to make sure she did have The funny thing is, though, you know where we got seated, Evan? Right there. Right in front of the podcast room. And I'm like, the door's open, of course, because there's people in here eating because they were packed, as they always are. And I was like, I kept looking there going, hey, you're in my room. That's my room. That's the room I dominate. Anyway. All right, so let's get to the Fearsome Fisome. As we do, that's our new thing. Almost got a sponsor. We're working on that. But if you don't hesitate to call. The Fearsome Fisome we will bring to you right now. And number one is Gator Baseball and what they did this weekend. I was stunned. What did I say on Friday? They needed to win one. You'd like them to win two. Because I know, look, this is still a very proud program. And I don't know if you watched any of the games, but it was loud and it was obnoxious. Their fans were really upset with the ball strike calls. But look, it's like I always say, you got to play around him. I mean, look, this guy was terrible on Saturday night. He was killing Florida, and then he killed Mississippi State at the end. So they were mad about that. But, I mean, nobody threw anything. And I will say this. Florida's team this year is more chippy than any Florida team I've ever seen. And they got a little chippy, and then they got chippy back, and whatever. Florida swept Mississippi State, the defending national champs. Not the same team, we all know that, but it still is what they did. Florida is a weird team, baseball-wise, because look, they're back in the argument to host a regional. I think they would probably have to do it as a 2 seed, which happens because this team can't afford it. This team doesn't want to do the bidding. This team, maybe their stadium's going on. I've seen it happen where a 2 seed hosts, and again, Florida's got this beautiful state of the art stadium. It's Florida, and so it's. But again, there's a lot of work to do. They've got a big series this weekend. Obviously, they play tomorrow night against Bethune, and then they got a big series this weekend at Missouri. They end up with FSU Tuesday, the following Tuesday, and then South Carolina to finish the season, and then you got the SEC tournament. There's a lot of work to be done. They have played themselves back into at least a discussion at this point of being a host. But I don't know that being a host is a great thing for Florida in this baseball season. They have the most road wins of any SEC team. They're tied for the most, but they also have the most home losses, or the next to most home losses of any team, which is kind of weird. It's supposed to be the other way around. But the thing I actually wrote about this in my back nine today, which you can read at WRUF.com. People who always say to me, "Oh, I miss you. I miss the back nine." It's up there every Monday. I mean, I don't know why. All you have to do is go to WRUF.com instead of Gatorsports.com, which you shouldn't be going to anyway. But I did mention that this Florida team is they're kind of a weird team, but this freshman class that we thought was supposed to be the number one class in America, according to all these services, it really wasn't much. Now it is. Now all of a sudden, like Ty Evans, they had no room for him in the outfield, kind of like Wyatt Langford last year. And then they basically said, we've got to find room for him because Derek Fabian's having a tough year. Freshman, playing with his brother, there's a lot of pressure on him. His brother struck out 5 times Sunday. It didn't help things, but they overcame that. But these freshmen now all of a sudden are becoming stars. Whether it's Caglione or whether it's Ty Evans, who I didn't even know was on the team. But all of a sudden he hit that homer on Saturday night that just was a bomb to opposite field. So, and they threw 4 freshman pitchers. I'm spitting here. 4 freshman pitchers on Saturday night and won the game. So give them credit. Give them a lot of credit. If you know me, I tell it like it is. When they're down, I'll tell you what they're not doing right. When they're up, I'll tell you. Right now, they're on an upswing, but there's a lot of work still to do. So let's see how they do going forward. Next, I do want to mention what Billy Napier did this weekend, getting 2 big commitments. Najee Harris, I assume that's how or Najah Harris. I don't know how you pronounce it. I just know that he committed to Florida, 4-star out of IMG, which Florida never used to get players from there. Never. When I say never, I mean never. Now, it's only been in existence, I think, since 2013. But they've never gotten a player, and now he's gotten 2 in 6 months. And then Creed Whittemore, who I think is going to be a really good player for Florida. I want to talk to Robbie about both those guys because that was a big weekend for Florida, and it's just going to continue. Look, Gator fans were, I think, a little upset. Why hasn't anything happened? Why are these guys doing such a good job spending all this money, and they got 19 assistants for special teams and everything, and we're not getting players? Well, they're going to come. Calm down. Relax. Was it Frankie Goes to Hollywood, you say? Relax. No, that wasn't. Relax was that Duran? I don't know. Who was Relax? I don't know. That was 80s music. Evan wasn't even born then. No. All right, so good job, Billy Napier, this weekend. Softball lost a game to Florida Gulf Coast, which was not good. They're a weird team, too. Both these teams at Florida, baseball and softball, which we do pay a lot of attention to, very inconsistent. Baseball's on an upswing. Softball's kind of floundering right now. But they still won 41 games. It's not like in the regular season. They're going to host the SEC tournament this weekend. They got a 5 seed because of the things that happen around the league. This league is so balanced. Arkansas, the job that their coach has done is amazing. This is a team that won 1 game just a few years ago, and now they're all of a sudden they win the SEC. They shared it with Florida last year, won it again this year, and it wasn't even close. They're the best team in the league, hit over 100 homers. They're amazing. Florida, on the other hand, is kind of you don't know what you're getting every day. against them for them. You don't know what you're getting in the circle. You don't know where you're getting at the plate. The one game they lost was 3-2. We saw them lose again on a walk-off to FSU this week. They still won 41 games. They got a very, very young team. But they're as weird stat-wise as the baseball teams. Florida is now 20-4 in games that are either away or neutral site games. Games not at Katie Seashell Presley Stadium. Florida's 20-4. They're 21-11 at home. That's kind of weird. But 21-11 at home, so you look at the SEC tournament this weekend. Florida plays on Wednesday at 5 o'clock. If they win, they will play Thursday at 5 o'clock. If they win again, it's going to be tough. They got to play Arkansas, Kentucky, teams that have been better than them this year. But the first game will be against the winner of Texas A&M, South Carolina. Well, it'll be interesting to see how they do, because I just don't know. They might win it. Here they are at home. They finally get the SEC tournament in their park. They might win it. They might go out in the first game, because I just don't know about this team. Also, I want to mention the men and women both advancing to the tennis Super Sweet 16s, which is a big deal. But the bigger deal is how they got there. And I don't care whether these teams are any good or not. It's just what they did. The men got there by beating Miami. Booyah. The women got there by beating FSU. Booyah. Okay, if they want to seed not have, like, I believe in the integrity of seeding, but nobody in the NCAA does. But if you want to put local teams here, which has happened with lacrosse, with Jacksonville coming here, that's fine. But to beat them is even better. So, congrats to both coaches, to Roland and Brian for that, as well as just we'll see what they are able to do. The men may win it all again this year. And finally, the Kentucky Derby was also Saturday, I'm sorry. And I did what I said I would do, which is I waited until I think there was 8 minutes before it was supposed to start. Didn't start on time. I had hard trouble getting some of the horses in. 22 horses or whatever it was. So that's when I flipped it on. I don't care about the backstories. I want to know the backstory of the winner when he wins. And it ends up being this incredible race. And then the winner, Rich Strike, tried to eat the horse that was trying to bring him in. I don't know what happened there. That was the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. And I've watched a lot of things. A lot of things I wish I hadn't watched, but some things I've watched. And one thing I've never seen is a horse basically getting punched repeatedly by the guy trying to bring him in, and he's trying to. And I was going to give that to Robbie as an either or, not as a yes, no, way, or maybe, but an either or. Was that horse trying to eat the other horse or trying to mate with the other horse? I couldn't tell. I don't know enough about horses. That was weird though. But 80-1 shot. And if you could go back in time and you went back to March, in March, they had him up there, 300-1 shot. If you had put $10 on Rich Strike, it'd be a lot of money. $3,000, be all right. Think if you put $100, $30,000. Evan wouldn't be here if he won that kind of money. So that is our fearsome five-some. We got a lot of things to get to, but we're going to bring Robbie back today, which is great. We haven't had him on in a while because he's been dealing with a lot of stuff. Again, we all have family stuff to deal with, and we've been trying to get him on radio a lot, and we don't want to overexpose him, but we need to expose him, especially because he's got a great sponsor in Hand Law. So we'll get him on here. We'll be right back with more of Another Dooley Noted Podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios.
Alberta, I understand you were witnesses to a crash. Can you tell us about the accident? When you're in a crash, it's important to get witness statements immediately after the accident. Whether you're in a car, truck, motorcycle, scooter, or even a golf cart accident, at Meldon Law, we won't back down.
Another Duly Noted podcast comes to you from the Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill and Celebration Point. You can watch and listen to us on Facebook and YouTube for every podcast that we do on Mondays and Fridays at 2 o'clock. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Overcast, any of the other 39 platforms where you can find this podcast or your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments section below or call me if you want to do some advertising at 352-317-3444.
Great food, great atmosphere, a diverse menu, everything made from scratch, plenty of space, and locally owned. These are all the characteristics of a great restaurant, and you can find each and every one of them right here in Gainesville at Ballyhoo Grill. Ballyhoo Grill prepares all of their food fresh every day, from their salad dressing to their award-winning soups. Bring your family and enjoy dinner under the Tin Trebo Tiki Hut while listening to live music. Or if you're running low on time to eat out, they also deliver through Uber Eats, Spite Squad, and Postmates. A Gainesville staple that's been open for over 30 years. Check out Ballyhoo Grill on Facebook or at ballyhoogrill.com.
Hello there, everybody. I'm Pat Dooley, of course, from Another Dooley Noted Podcast. And this is a great Adam Brewer, and he's just opened up a place here, Adam Brew To Go. What would give you the idea to do this, to have a to-go place like this?
We really like the fast concept, being able to get the barbecue. Now we have this new online ordering. So before it was a call ahead carry out, quick service. We have like a curbside kind of a deal where everything's ready to go for you. And then we thought, wow, we have a really great dine-in concept, but how can we make this streamlined for the customer and make it easy and accessible for all parts of town?
Adam's Rib Co. To Go. Come on down and enjoy it.
Things have certainly got a little out of hand lately when it comes to just buying our everyday necessities. Just look at gas, streaming services, and heck, even chicken wings. Well, there is one necessity that shouldn't cost a ton: taking care of yourself and helping fix all the aches and pains in life, and the fine folks at Titan MRI agree. With costs a fraction of what you'd pay at a hospital, you'll not only save money, you'll be taken care of by staff with over 20 years experience. So when you need an MRI, call Titan first, and you can go where your doctors send their families. Now offering CAT scans.
All right, we are back here on another Duly Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. And Robbie was just off the air talking about a great song, Lost in a Lost World.
Yeah, the Moody Blues.
And I was thinking, I was singing.
Seventh Sojourn, the album.
Oh, what an album. Remember that song, The Question? I'm looking for some.
Yeah.
I was singing that so loud in the car the other day, I think cars were pulling off. I think
To
it's
get
one
out of your way?
most beautiful. Well, they didn't want to hear that.
No.
Plenty to talk about. And of course, I don't know how was your Mother's Day?
Kind of quiet because Jill had to go out of town.
That's right. Yeah.
Because her grandmother, 99-year-old grandmother, fell and had a mild heart attack. So she went there to take care of her.
There's no such thing as a mild heart attack.
No, you're right. So we'll do Mother's Day when she gets home.
Oh,
How was yours?
It was great. It was great. We had a great time. It was really good. Although I will say this, I learned for the first time. How long have I been married?
2, 3 years.
Almost 3 years. I've learned that Mother's Day is the one I can't screw up.
No, you really
I
can't.
thought it was the birthday. But
No, it's Mother's Day.
I'm way off on that. But think about this. For men, how many days we have to be good? We have to do it right, right? Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, birthday, Christmas, right? Women, whatever you get us, you can get us a sock full
For
of
Father's
coal.
Day,
We
you
don't
mean?
care. Father's Day, we don't care. We don't care about Christmas.
Six-pack of beer?
Yes. But we got to get it right. And I think I did, but at the same time, it's...
What'd you come through with?
Well, I got her some really cool things for her present, and then we went to the movies over here, came over here for lunch. It was great.
That's good, Pat.
It was good.
Good
All right.
job.
Well, you got to do at least that well now.
Yeah. We'll figure it out.
All
I
right.
usually make chocolate chip pancakes in the morning, mimosas.
Yeah, but
steak
what
on the
morning
grill.
will that be now?
Huh? I don't know. Probably Sunday.
Next Sunday?
Yeah.
Can I come over?
No. You're out. You can come over at the end and do the dishes. How's that?
You also had a daughter going to the prom this week.
Yeah.
Golly.
I
What
know.
happened?
Hard to believe.
I remember when you got married. I can remember that day distinctly. When you got married, I'm like,
I can't remember it. I remember it well too, Pat.
yeah, no, it's amazing how old we are. In fact,
Yeah.
my daughter at the end of this month turns 21.
God.
I know.
And how old is Jenny now?
40.
You stop right there.
Almost 41.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
How old am I? 1,000.
Yes.
All right, let's talk some college football. We're not going to talk any NIL. We may ask a question, and of course, Robbie will be playing Yes, No Way, or Maybe a little bit later, sponsored by, of course, Big Mills Cheesesteaks. We always love Big Mills Cheesesteaks, and we'll play that game with him. Also, a little bit later in the show, Robbie is going to do the 6 over-unders for what I think are the most interesting teams in the SEC that aren't Florida. Okay. So we'll do that. So we got a lot of good things. We'll talk mostly college football with him. And obviously this was a big weekend for Billy Napier. It was only 2 players. They're both 4 stars. One's a kind of 3 to 4 star guy. But it's still, he's got this pipeline going. And I don't want to say even pipeline. He's at least getting players from IMG.
They've never
gotten one.
No, now they've got 2 here. And there are going to be more apparently coming.
Yes.
And then the Whittemore kid, these are the kind of guys you build your program around. He loves the Gators. He'll play his butt off for them, just like the Jacksons did. So
just like his brother is.
Yeah, like his brother. That to me, that was a great weekend of recruiting for Napier in Florida.
Yeah,
both guys were big time to me.
I was thinking when I saw Whittemore was going to make an announcement Saturday, I was thinking, Florida. And I go, well, you never know.
You never do know.
Some guys want to get, build their own path, or that's not the way.
But you look at the local kids that grew up Gator fans, the McGriff, Travis McGriff, the Jacksons, Doring. They all ended up being great players at Florida because they want to be here. They love the Gators, and they put everything into it. So
I just thought of a great list I can do for Gators Wire about the 10 greatest Florida players from Gainesville.
You easily come up with 10.
Yeah. Not hard at all. The Jacksons will be right at the top.
Burnell
of that
Brown.
list. Burnell Brown. There's a bunch of them.
Yeah, there is.
Chris Doring would be. But Chris Doring might be number 1. They did a thing the other day. They did it 2 years ago because Ivan Maisel was on it for ESPN. That's how you know how old it is. But it was the greatest walk-ons in history, and Chris Doring got no mention. I'm like,
how can that be?
Not only that, but Lewis Oliver. I mean, how can you?
Maybe the greatest walk-on ever.
Curran Bell.
Yeah. But, I mean, Lewis Oliver from walk-on to All-American? Come on.
Yeah, they had Jordy Nelson was up there really high, which I didn't even know he was a walk-on.
I didn't know he was a walk-on
until then, but so we'll see what happens. But look, we're in the time of this. Really is kind of the start of talking season, Robbie.
It is summertime.
Unfortunately,
dead time.
All anybody's talking about is NIL and transfer portal, but we're going to eventually start talking college football. We'll start right now with that.
The thing is, though, with the NIL thing, Pat, you could talk about it every day because it's so weird what's going on and how strange the impact could be on college football.
And it's a hot button topic for the listeners because they're like, I hate it. I love it. I hate it. I love it.
Yeah.
In my day, we didn't pay the players.
Everybody's got a strong opinion on it one way or the other.
Yeah. But the thing is, I think it is, I don't know if I want to say this because with our political climate right now, but it may be the subject people know the least about that have the strongest opinions about.
Yeah, true.
They really don't know what's going on.
A lot of people don't know what's going on, really.
I don't know.
We don't know where it's going either. So
I don't know where it's going on at all. I saw this today. I thought I'd run this by you. Somebody was saying on Twitter, which it's my fault for looking at Twitter, that the ACC plays tougher schedules than the SEC. And my first reaction was, that's because the ACC is playing SEC teams.
Well, yeah, that's exactly it.
And so you can't be this stupid to think that because the SEC gets stuck with all these bad ACC teams that you play a tougher schedule. But, I mean, that's the bottom line is, and we see this being a positive in baseball and softball where the conference is so strong that the numbers, like right now, Florida's a 12, I think a 12 in baseball and a 10 in softball, and they've had subpar seasons.
They really have.
But
for them,
the way they played, I mean, the teams they play against, it's unbelievable how well the SEC is taken into account. That includes football.
Yeah, amazing.
I mean, I didn't know. I did not expect that Florida sweep in baseball this weekend against Mississippi State.
But you told me before going in that the state was struggling a little bit.
They
right?
are. They are not.
But they
good.
are the defending national champions.
They are. They've lost a lot. They're kind of like that Florida team after they won the national title. But yeah, I'm kind of surprised at how watching their games. I watched parts of all 3 games, and they were not good. They didn't pitch well. That was the biggest thing. They just walked too many. I think they walked 10 on Saturday.
That's hard to win when you do that.
Hard to win those kind of games. So we got that going on, baseball and softball, but we do want to talk a little Gator football. Robbie, I mean, when we look at this team, I did this thing. We never got to. I was going to ask you 14 questions the other day. On the radio. But we had so many calls we never got to them. And the first one was obviously Anthony Richardson. Is he a real deal? And I mean, I think we're all waiting to see whether he is or not.
He definitely has the chance to be the real deal.
And the other one, it gets a lot of talk. And I saw a big story today about Georgia. Can they survive getting 15 players drafted? I'm like, haven't we been through this before with like LSU and Alabama? They get 1,000 players drafted. Now, did LSU handle it well? No.
No, they didn't. No.
But Alabama keeps going.
Yeah.
And I think that's where Georgia is.
Yeah, because you're going to have a lot of talented young guys who haven't played a lot with all this potential, but do they reach that potential this fall? And that Alabama has a way of doing that successfully. Can Georgia do it? I don't know. We'll find out.
Well, they have had to do this because remember when Chubb and Michelle came back and everything, and then they had to replace them. So they've got. I mean, look, this is what I've tried to tell people. Look, it's great what Billy Napier is doing. He's doing just from the recruiting standpoint. He's doing it the right way. We've got a million stories we could tell you. A lot of them are funny. A lot of them.
Oh yeah.
But the bottom line is he's doing it the right way. But Alabama and Georgia aren't going away.
No,
they're not going to quit recruiting now.
They're elite recruiters, and they're going to stay that way. They're going to be in the top 5 every year. So Florida needs to get in there.
Well,
stay there.
Yeah, that turned into a Twitter war, which we love those, where Georgia fans were going, you got 2 from IMG, we've got 9 from IMG. And, of course, the Gator fans are bouncing back going, we had 0. You've had 6 years to get 9.
Yeah.
We've got 2 in 6 months.
And there are going to be a couple more, I have a feeling.
Yeah, and so it keeps going back and forth. So I do think that him getting 2 commitments this weekend, and again, commitments are only commitments, but him getting 2 commitments this weekend kind of takes a little, not that he feels any heat. I get the impression Billy Napier never feels heat.
He doesn't seem to be the type that, he doesn't. Pressure doesn't seem to.
He doesn't let the outside in.
No, he's in his little cocoon there. I think he's fine.
So, but I mean, at least from the fan base, I think was
people were wanting commitments.
Yeah. Why, if we're recruiting so well and we're getting why aren't we getting anybody? And I think you're going to see it go out, and it's going to be all summer. And
there could be another one today, Pat. For all we know, there's some kid announcing. So
you never know.
Wait and see.
All right, so here's what I want to do with Robbie today, and we will get to Yes, No, Where, maybe brought to you by Big Mills Cheesesteaks, of course. And if you go to Big Mills Cheesesteaks and go, I listened to Another Dooley Noted Podcast, they will go, first of all, we're going to commit you, and then we're going to give you shock treatment, but we're also going to give you free French fries. Yeah.
Good.
So I want to do the over-under for you for the most intriguing teams, I think, in the SEC that aren't Florida.
You're going to want a win total from me?
Win total, regular season games only.
Okay.
So it doesn't
12 games.
Yeah, 12 games. I'm not going to include Florida in this. We all know Florida is, to me, maybe the most intriguing team.
Well, yeah, you got this potential superstar quarterback in a good roster, not a real deep one right now.
Yeah.
And a tough early schedule, starting off with Utah. So
Utah, Kentucky, Tennessee.
The year could go either way for this team.
Yeah, and
it could be really good or not real good.
I think they're right there in the intriguing level. But we talk about Florida a lot, so let me go to you with these 6 teams. We'll go first with Auburn. I'm writing these down, so I'm gonna.
God, there's so many question marks there. Pat.
I know.
I mean, starting with the head coach, his future there, with the way things went in the offseason.
We had Cole Kubelik on Friday. What day is today? Monday. Friday. And he thinks they're going to be pretty good on defense. So, but I don't
But
know.
I mean, you look at their roster. They don't have any proven wide
No,
receivers.
they don't.
They've got the great running back Tank Grigsby.
Whatever his name is.
Yeah, I mean, but they couldn't run the ball.
didn't do
last
anything
year.
last year, yeah.
because their line was soft. So, to me, there's a lot of pressure there, and I think 7 at the very most.
All right,
wins. Very
7
most.
wins, Robbie says. All right, how about the great Arkansas team that won 9 games
See, now
last year?
every-
Now
and
they won 9, but you count the bowl game, so they
Yeah.
won 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the expectations now are kind of off the charts all of a sudden out of
They
nowhere.
got another tough schedule.
They do, and they're in the West, so I'm thinking maybe 7 for them too.
Wow. So somebody's
6.
going to have to win games in that league, okay?
Let's see, Alabama.
How about LSU? That's my next team.
Your next one?
Yeah.
I think their ceiling's pretty high, Pat, because they're loaded with talent as usual, and the quarterback, if they get great quarterback play, they've got great receivers.
Who is their quarterback? I am so confused by everybody who transferred.
He's the guy that was hurt, and then he got in the portal, and he came out of the portal. And when he played, he was real good 2 years ago. Now I'm drawing a blank.
Miles
too.
Brennan.
Yeah.
He's their quarterback.
He's probably going to be their quarterback, yeah. And then they've got the Arizona State transfer,
Oh,
which
Jaden Daniels.
he gives them a curveball because he's got this electric
I think
ability to run the ball.
And again, that's where Emory Jones went, of course, because Jaden Daniels left.
Yeah.
I think Jaden Daniels is really talented physically, but to me, he's a lot like Anthony Richardson. I don't know how good he is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope Anthony Richardson's great, but Jaden Daniels the same way. I see great things, and then I see awful things.
Yeah.
with
Well,
him.
yeah, you look at Richardson, you saw great things, and you saw late in the
Georgia.
half at Georgia.
Yeah.
So you never.
So
know.
what are you going with LSU?
I'm going to go pretty high with him, Pat. I'm going to say 9.
All right, 9 wins for LSU. How about your favorite team and the Cattlemen's favorite team, as you know, the Mighty Vols?
The Mighty Vols. Well, they had a great year last year, Pat. But
And they've turned Neyland into a tough place to play again.
they have. That Ole Miss game ignited that place.
I think that is the key for their success. Is that
Yeah.
place can be tough to play, but it's not always tough to play.
No.
You know, it's kind of
And
like.
when things don't go well,
Do you remember during the 90s with LSU, everybody would talk about Death Valley, and I would go, look at their record at Death Valley. It's
Yeah.
terrible. You know why? Their coaching has sucked.
Yeah.
So they lose games.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
It's not that hard to play if you're
No.
if you got Spurrier and they got what's his name, Mike Archer
Yeah. Then you got a mismatch.
and Jerry DiNardo.
Yeah. How in the world do they have those guys as coaches at LSU when you look back on it, Pat?
I don't know. It's crazy.
It's pretty amazing.
DiNardo beat Spurrier in '97, right?
Yeah.
Shiny pants game.
Shiny pants game. But
So-
that was a strange game.
Anyway, let's get back to Tennessee.
Okay, Tennessee.
Yeah.
You want my ceiling?
Yes.
I think they possibly could win 8 games.
Okay. I agree with you. I think that Tennessee fans, because they have embraced the NIL, and this is something that
Well, yeah, they're one of the lead teams right now as far as
I just saw not a coach, an athletic director got fired at Wichita State because he refused to accept the NIL.
Well, you can't
do
do that.
that.
You should be fired if you do that.
Well,
You're
that
just-
may be Dabo.
Yeah.
Dabo, let's see. Your brother has been involved in porn trafficking.
Yeah.
And you don't take NIL, boom, you're out.
If you don't do NIL, you're the dumbest coach in the world or AD in the world because if you want to keep up with everybody else, you got to get in there and compete. If you don't compete, you're done.
That seemed crazy.
Yeah.
All right, Kentucky and the SEC East.
Again, expectations are high there again because
Yeah,
of
they
the
are.
job that Stoops has done. And they've kind of had Florida's number lately.
God. That is maybe the worst thing Dan Mullen did was make
Lost to
Kentucky relevant.
Yeah, he did. He did.
He made them relevant in the East.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't be.
No. And
Basketball, yes.
And when you do become relevant, suddenly you can recruit better, Pat. And that's what Kentucky's done. So
Although I will say this, Kentucky, the way they've handled Mark Stoops and kept him and built stuff for him, they've done it the right way.
They've spent the money.
And
Facilities are good.
This is what every school in the Power 5 needs to look at, is the way they have handled this. It's like the template for being crappy forever and then all of a sudden being at least good enough that you can beat some teams and win some big
And
games.
sticking with a guy like they've stuck with him.
Exactly. But yeah,
And now he's returned the loyalty because his name has popped up in coaching searches, and he has stayed at Kentucky.
So I don't know what's worse, the way. But I don't blame Dan Mullen for letting the recruiting die.
You don't?
No, because every coach before him did the same thing. They couldn't recruit.
Yeah.
I mean,
Meyer
Muschamp.
could.
Well, I'm just saying Muschamp after Meyer. Muschamp recruited okay, but he only recruited one side of the ball.
Yeah. Defense.
McElwain, would recruit mediocre. He would never recruit great. Mullen kind of, he did.
Mullen had the attitude that if I'll take 3-star guys and develop them, and we'll beat you that way.
Because that's how great I am.
Kirby Smart called him out on that this year or last year,
and they get fired.
Yeah.
All right, so how about Kentucky's wins? What do you say out of 12 games, how many do they win?
7.
Oh, I think you're way low on Kentucky.
You do?
Yeah. All right, finally, South Carolina, which is, of course, they've got the most overrated quarterback in the history of the transfer portal, in Spencer Rattler.
Is he overrated?
He got beat out of his job because he wasn't
great
good
player,
enough
though.
in a league where nobody plays defense.
Yeah.
How do we know he's a great player?
Well, you look at the bowl game that he lit Florida up. That was pretty impressive.
Okay.
Of course, they'd quit.
Yes, they weren't
Injured
even
guys
trying.
were hurt.
No, I don't. I think Spencer Rattler's way overrated.
Yeah. South Carolina finished kind of on a roll, Pat, but
Yeah, they got to start on a roll.
yeah.
I mean, they can't. This is
Now they've got expectations.
well,
too.
and this is old Tennessee formula. We'll lose to Florida early, and then we'll win a bunch of games. We'll end up in a nice bowl game.
Yeah.
We'll go 10-2 because at the end we play Memphis, Vandy, and Kentucky.
Yeah.
That was the way they kind of did it. But
You're right. Lighter
except
on
that
the
one
back
year they
end.
lost to Memphis.
Yeah, I know. That was classic.
That was the year.
That was Fulmer, right?
Yeah, that was the year that Spurrier brought me the cartoon he had been faxed that had Tennessee's goals. And it was like national champs crossed out, SEC champs crossed out, SEC champs crossed
State
out,
champ.
state champ crossed out, Knox County champs still was a lot.
Classic.
And he goes, yeah, I didn't give this to you.
He probably still has it.
That was. You wonder why we loved covering that guy.
God, he was
All
good.
right, so lastly,
Wait, I didn't give you my over/under on South Carolina.
Oh, okay.
6.
No, you're way low on that.
No, why do you think they're going to be
So
so
you're
good?
thinking. So basically, Florida's definitely going to beat all three of those teams, and LSU. You're giving it kind of a medium, so they may not beat LSU.
Okay,
right?
what's your over/under on maybe Texas A&M? I think they're overrated.
I think they're overrated too, and I think
Unproven at quarterback.
I think in 2 years they may be awesome, or it may have just gone all south.
Yeah.
For him.
I mean, he had a great recruiting year, but they lost, 5 games last year?
4
games?
Well, no, they won 8, so maybe they were 8.
Yeah, it was 8-5.
Yeah. So yeah,
So he beat Alabama, but
he lost his quarterback and he couldn't adjust. And that I don't know what that says about you.
I don't know. They're stuck with him for a long time.
They are. All right, we have to get to. We don't have to, but we want to get to yes, no, where, maybe. It is brought to you
Yes, no way, or maybe.
by Big Mills. It was kind of Robbie's invention here.
It was.
Big Mills cheesesteaks.
Did I
of
trademark
course.
that?
Yeah, street dining done right, and we appreciate Big Mills and all the stuff they do for us. And Keith Miller over there, who was a winner of the Marge Award this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Cool.
so that was kind of exciting for him, I know. All
Who
of our
won
awards are exciting.
Who won the Wood Award?
Same guy that won it last year. He hit like 9 trees.
He did?
Yeah, so
I was thinking maybe Arnold would get it.
Arnold probably was
Because when
deserving.
you come to a 130-yard par 3 and you hit a driver off the tee.
Why didn't you tell me that before?
I did, but you were all worried about it.
I was all.
And the ball went so far right, Jill said, that's the worst shot I've ever seen in my life.
Well, we've given it to a lot of good people, but the other guy that I should have given it to was a guy who tried to throw the ball from 150 yards.
Yeah,
out.
all you do is throw your arm
I
out
was
doing
like,
that.
what do you do? You
Not
can
gonna
only
work.
throw the ball about 50 yards
Yeah.
at the most
Yeah.
if you got a good arm.
Yeah,
Anyway,
like we were talking out there at the tournament. People think they can throw the
No,
golf ball far.
exactly.
You can't throw it that far.
all right, so yes, nowhere, maybe brought to you by Big Mills Cheesesteaks. You can go in there and get free fries. with your order if you mention Another Duly Noted Podcast. Number one, Robbie, this time next year, we will have solved the tampering problem that's going on in college football, because it's definitely going on.
Maybe, because there's a lot going on back there, but there is going to be something to address that, and they're going to work on that. So I'm going to give that a big maybe. But there's still going to be some unknowns, and some people are going to continue to tamper and cheat. And
Yeah.
they did when the NCAA was kind of tough. Now they're doing.
Now that the NCAA
It's not going to stop.
Yeah.
You know, you can better regulate it, but it's not going to stop.
Well, it's just like with I saw a story today about somebody that we mentioned it last week. The Zay Jones from Boston College, who was offered $600,000 and $300,000 by two different schools to get in the transfer portal. He's not even in the transfer portal.
See, now that you cannot. That's tampering.
Well,
you can't do that.
I'm hoping the NCAA or somebody or something comes down hard on people that are tampering.
Yeah.
But we don't know. All right, that's number one on Yes, No Way, or Maybe. Number two, Dan Mullen will have a job this football season.
Yes. It may not be on the sidelines. It may be
I don't
in
think
the
it will
television.
be,
It'll be in
yeah.
the television booth. Because
It is kind of weird, though. I looked at Wikipedia just to make sure I hadn't missed something.
Yeah.
And it said, Dan Mullen is an American football coach. I'm like,
well, he's a retired American football
why
coach.
he's not retired? He's fired.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's got millions of dollars, though. He'll have a job.
I
Pat.
wouldn't work, but,
He's either going to have a job as assistant in the NFL or in the TV booth in college football in some way.
I would go with
Because
TV booth,
where was it? He was at the SEC game, title game.
Yeah,
he did a great job.
And
at
he
that.
was at the national title game, too.
Yeah, I mean, he's a smart guy. He knows football. He knows offense. He's good at it.
I wonder why they haven't.
And he doesn't have
announced
to
anything.
recruit in the TV booth.
Yeah, I don't know what's
So.
going on. Apparently with Meyer and I don't
Fox,
know if
is
that
that what he
Fox
was-
thing is going to work out because of all the stuff that's coming out, and then so
Which-
maybe Mullen succeeds
He
him.
could slip in there and do that. Yeah.
Yeah,
But do you
absolutely.
really, if you're a TV guy, do you want Urban Meyer and all the baggage?
I don't
now
want either one of them
that he
to be
brings
honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't think either one of them. Well, Urban's more interesting than Dan.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of baggage, and with Dan, I don't know. He's okay.
Yeah. You just never warmed up to him, Pat.
I didn't. I'll be
And
honest.
he didn't warm up to you either,
No,
or
he
any
didn't.
of us, really.
No, he didn't. All right. When I had to get, well, never mind. I'm not even going to tell that story.
So what did I give that, a maybe? No, I said a yes.
You said a yes. Okay. Number three, Florida has a top 5 recruiting class this year.
This year?
Yeah.
I'm tempted to say, well,
You're tempted to say no way
I'm tempted to say no way.
because people don't realize how hard it is
It
to
is-
come
yeah,
in
it
and
is to do that.
do it right away.
I think a year from now he's going to be putting together a top 5 class, but I'm going to say no way on this class. I think it's going to be a top 10 class.
Yes, that's exactly
top
what I
5. That's when you're hitting the elite stratosphere there that they want to get to, and I think they will get there. But I think it takes a little time. You got to develop relationships with people, and they're doing that now. So I think you'll see that pay off big time in a year.
And you'll have
year from
the
now.
building will be up. I
yeah,
mean, as much
you will
as,
walk them through it.
Yes,
starting
exactly.
This summer,
and you will
so.
say, "Here's where you're going to
Yeah,
be."
so I'm going to
Here's
go
your
no
locker
way,
room.
but next year, yes, on top 5
Well, we'll see.
recruiting class.
Although they probably have some more surprises for us. All
Yeah,
right.
you never know.
Robbie Andrew's appearance is, of course, brought to you by Hand Law. We appreciate Chris Hand for doing that. We appreciate Robbie for being in today. We hadn't had him in a while because
Yeah.
we've been busy doing other things. We've got so much going
And you
on.
get the head ball coach in here on Monday.
Usually we do, and we'll hopefully have him on Friday.
Yeah,
So you're sitting in the same seat as the
I
head ball coach. You feel a touch
I'm
of
not
greatness?
worthy. I'm just not worthy.
It's well, I'll tell you the story out there. It's a funny,
Okay.
kind of a funny story, but not funny, just interesting. All right,
You owe me 2 stories off the air, I think. Didn't you have another one?
yeah, I forget what that one is. All right,
Me too.
All right, we'll be back. We have to do all of our great stuff that we always have fun doing, including the Hesser and Kipke Power 5. I got a great story about Ken Hesser as well. Adams Ribco Gator of the weekend. I had a lot of choices for once. Hadn't had a lot lately. The Hand Law 3 Things, because Hand Law is a double sponsor, and Leonardo's Quick Picks here on Another Duly Noted Podcast, presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studio.
Alberta, I understand you were witnesses to a crash. Can you tell us about the accident? When you're in a crash, it's important to get witness statements immediately after the accident. Whether you're in a car, truck, motorcycle, scooter, or even a golf cart accident, at Meldon Law, we won't back down.
Another Duly Noted podcast comes to you from the Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill and Celebration Point. You can watch and listen to us on Facebook and YouTube for every podcast that we do on Mondays and Fridays at 2 o'clock. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Overcast, any of the other 39 platforms where you can find this podcast or your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments section below or call me if you want to do some advertising at 352-317-3444.
Great food, great atmosphere, a diverse menu, everything made from scratch, plenty of space, and locally owned. These are all the characteristics of a great restaurant, and you can find each and every one of them right here in Gainesville at Ballyhoo Grill. Ballyhoo Grill prepares all of their food fresh every day, from their salad dressing to their award-winning soups. Bring your family and enjoy dinner under the Tim Trebo Tiki Hut while listening to live music. Or if you're running low on time to eat out, they also deliver through Uber Eats, Fight Squad, and Postmates. A Gainesville staple that's been open for over 30 years. Check out Ballyhoo Grill on Facebook or at ballyhoogrill.com.
Hello there, everybody. I'm Pat Dooley, of course, from Another Dooley Noted Podcast. And this is a great Adam Brewer, and he's just opened up a place here, Adam Brew To Go. What would give you the idea to do this, to have a to-go place?
We really like the fast concept, being able to get the barbecue. Now we have this new online ordering. So before it was a call ahead carry out, quick service. We have like a curbside kind of a deal where everything's ready to go for you. And then we thought, wow, we have a really great dine-in concept, but how can we make this streamlined for the customer and make it easy and accessible for all parts of town?
Adam's Rib Co. To Go. Come on down and enjoy it.
Things have certainly got a little out of hand lately when it comes to just buying our everyday necessities. Just look at gas, streaming services, and heck, even chicken wings. Well, there is one necessity that shouldn't cost a ton: taking care of yourself and helping fix all the aches and pains in life, and the fine folks at Titan MRI agree. With costs a fraction of what you'd pay at a hospital, you'll not only save money, you'll be taken care of by staff with over 20 years experience. So when you need an MRI, call Titan first, and you can go where your doctors send their families. Now offering CAT scans.
Okay, welcome back to Another Duly Noted Podcast presented by the great folks at Titan MRI. And, of course, it's coming from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. And we appreciate all of our great sponsors, including Hesser and Kipke. And they bring you the Power 5 in baseball and the bottom 3. Hesser and Kipke is a law firm based in Hale Plantation specializing in employment, workers' comp, and family law. Visit their website at www.hklawfl.com or call Ken and Jennifer at 352-339-9920. Interesting, after we had dinner here on Sunday, Karen and I went outside and said, hey, let's have a drink outside because it was a beautiful day. And later, as we were leaving, I got a text from Ken Hesser. He goes, apparently you were sitting right next to us at the bar. We've never met. He's been a great sponsor, and we text all the time, and we've never met. So he didn't realize that we were sitting next to each other at the bar. But we appreciate Ken. It would have been nice to meet both of them. We got to work that out. We got to have a beer or something one day. I'm gonna get that done, Ken. I promise you. All right. So the top five and the Power 5 for Hesser and Kipke's baseball Power 5. I'm going with the Mets, number 1. Because they're the first team to win 20 games. Now, I know other teams have played lesser games. That's okay. I want to go first team to 20 becomes number 1. And again, this is another list that is very painful for me to do because as a Braves fan and not lover of the Mets for obvious reasons, it's painful. But I give them credit. They're the first team to get to 20 wins. Number 2, the LA Dodgers, which makes my daughters both happy. They like the Dodgers. They are 19-7 right now. The Yankees, 3rd. What's up? ISIS next? Like Putin's team? Is that next? No, the Yankees are 19-8. Got to give them credit. This is a newcomer, the Angels, at 19-11. They're playing really well right now, and they're number 4. The Astros are number 5, and there are teams that have a little better record, but it's scary when the Astros get good because I'm never going to like the Astros because of the cheating and everything that happened. I did enjoy beating them in the World Series, though. 18-11. By the way, my Braves are hovering somewhere in the middle of the Power 5 and the bottom 3. They won 2 in a row, though, so maybe they're starting to go. All right, the bottom 3. Number 1, is it going to be easy all year to do the Reds, number 1, as the worst team in baseball? They are up to 5 wins now. I just said the Mets were the first to win 20. The Reds have 5 wins. They're 5-23. So I'm thinking they must be the first team to lose 20. Their run differential is -79. That's pretty bad. Second, the Tigers, 8-19. Not good. It's never good to be 8 in anything. Well, football, I guess it's okay. And then third, I'm putting the other team I do like, my American League team, which some people say you can't do, but I do. The Red Sox, 10-19. They've lost 5 in a row. That's bad. Nowhere in here are Ken's Phillies. They're kind of like the Braves. They're just kind of hovering. They're not doing anything. I'm waiting for the Braves to make a little run here. And he's waiting for the Phillies to make a run. We may both be disappointed. We'll see what happens. That is the Hesser and Kipke Power 5 and Bottom 3. We do it every Monday. And, of course, on Fridays we do the games of the weekend, so can't wait for that. We got a lot of other things we're going to try to do as we get to the summer months. There is going to be a day coming up in a couple of weeks where I'm not going to do a show. We'll have a best of interviews thing. But for the most part, I'll be here most of the summer, keep the show going Monday and Friday. With Coach Spurrier. I think Coach Spurrier will be here Friday, but I'm still not 100% sure about that. So that is Hesser and Kipke Power 5 and Bottom 3. Appreciate them as a double sponsor. It is time for the Adams Ribco to go, Gator of the weekend, and I had a lot to choose from. There have been weeks, we do it every Monday and every Friday. There have been Fridays when I really didn't have anybody. There have been Mondays when I didn't have anybody, which is embarrassing for a school with the stature of Florida. It was hard to find somebody. You had to this week I had a lot of choices. I could have gone with a lot of baseball players. I could definitely have gone with a lot of tennis players and men's and women's. I mentioned earlier, both of them getting to the Sweet 16, but I went with a lacrosse player. Again, we don't give a lot of pub to lacrosse. Daniel Pavanelli, who had 6 goals in their win to win the conference tournament over Vanderbilt. Nothing wrong with that. Never beaten Vanderbilt in any sports. Not a bad thing, except football. It's not that big a deal when you beat them in football. Everything else, still a big deal. So she had 6 goals in the final game and was announced also as the player of the year. Pretty good. Now, I know it's a weird deal and that many of you aren't lacrosse fans, but the other problem is with Florida not being in they're in the American Athletic Conference, not the SEC, because there's only, I think, 2 programs. So it's kind of hard to get into lacrosse, but you got to give credit to Mandy O'Leary and what she's been able to do. I mean, I think they've won like 8 straight conference tournaments, something like that, 10 straight, 11. I mean, they've done really good. They've won also, I think, 13 straight games, right? 13 straight matches that are matches or games. I don't know. I don't know that much about lacrosse. I have covered a couple of lacrosse matches, but all you had to do was interview the coach, interview the players. It's not that hard. They won 14-9. That's all. I can do that. That is the score of the 1991 Florida FSU game, though, by the way. 14-9. I don't know why I'm bringing that up. All right, so Daniel Pavanelli is the Gator Adams Ribco to go Gator of the weekend, and Danielle, or Daniela, whichever one it is. You have that going for you. That's something to remember the rest of your life. You were an Adams Ribco to go Gator of the weekend. We appreciate Adams Ribco and especially Adams Ribco to go. They're doing great work over there. All right. I got distracted there for a minute. I was just looking the wrong way, and all of a sudden I went, What's wrong with my eyes? They're fine, but it's weird sometimes being on TV, even though you're not really on TV, but you're on TV. All right, it is time for our Hand Law 3 Things. We always love having them. And, of course, Chris Hand and Hand Law sponsor Robbie Andreu segment as well, which we just had, which was great. I thought it was actually really fun to get Robbie back on. We need to get him on a little bit more. But with Coach Spurrier being on every week, it's kind of, I don't want to say messed it up because we'd rather have Coach Spurrier on than anybody in the world, right? But it certainly has changed things. And, of course, in terms of getting guests, but we got a big summer ahead of us. Let's put it that way. All right, it is time for Hand Law 3 Things, and Hand Law's 3 Things are sponsored by Hand Law, coincidentally enough, a Florida law firm which helps clients with government. You can learn more about Hand Law by visiting its website at www.handlaw. See, I looked away for just a second, and I totally lost where I was. www.hand.law. That's where it should have said. The firm is available for consultation in Jacksonville. We appreciate Chris Hand and all the great work they do. Number one, all right, so we're watching the Kentucky Derby on Saturday. This is after we had watched a movie, not the first Doctor Strange. It's the one with Spider-Man. It's a Spider-Man movie, but Doctor Strange is a huge part in it. And it was good. I like that one better than the new one, to be honest with you. So, yeah. So, it was a little bit easier to follow. But, man, they get complicated when they start talking about different universes. Sometimes I wish I was in a different universe. Anyway, so I flip it over and I say, Karen, we got to watch the Derby. I don't care about any of the pregame. We're going to watch it. And so she's like, I can't watch it. I go, why? She goes, I'm afraid somebody's going to fall. I'm afraid somebody's going to fall off their horse and get trampled, or a horse is going to break its leg. Because it happened once, I think one of each in her lifetime. But she's convinced it's going to happen every time. So she's watching it. Here they come around the stretch, and she's like, this is what I'm talking about. They're going to collide. And all of a sudden, this horse, out of nowhere, Rich Strike, who ends up winning the Derby, makes this incredible run. And now she's screaming and yelling, excited about it. And the dog gets all excited. Of course, he gets excited when she yells. Usually it's reserved for Gator football games when she gets all excited. But anyway, it was just kind of fun to watch that, and it was weird too. And I just the way that horse acted afterwards, and I guess because of last year, maybe we all go, oh, could be a drug issue there. They might have shot him up with amphetamines. We'll see. All right, that's number one. Number two, Dorian Finney-Smith went off yesterday in the game, and I tell you what a career he's having. He had 24 points yesterday in the Mavs win. Great to see him doing so well, and they told a great story about his mom. If you didn't get a chance, I'll tell it maybe some other time because we're running out of time. And Al Horford had a huge game for the Celtics. They lost. He had a tip-in attempt that didn't go in at the end. They lost by 2. Got a bad call there, but got to play around the refs. So anyway, congratulations to the way he's playing and how well he's done in his career. Now, again, he wasn't a Billy Donovan recruit, but he came here from Virginia Tech as a transfer portal guy. Wasn't great at Florida, to be honest with you. He was a good player. He wasn't great, but he's become a really good NBA player. I didn't see that in him. It's become one. Number 3, it's official. We are in the state where people are going to start saying, hey, maybe these guys should just sit out their junior years because they can't get drafted, but they don't want to get hurt. It started with Will Anderson. There was a good story by Alex Scarborough about maybe he should sit out. I just don't want to hear it. I get tired of hearing it. I don't want to hear that guys should sit out. If they want to sit out, fine. It's their prerogative. All the guys that opted out during COVID, it was their prerogative. It's your right to do whatever you want. But I don't think people should be suggesting they do. That's all I'm saying. Just let them make their own decision because we're not going to have that much impact. All right, that is our Hand Law 3 Things for today. One more thing to do, and that's the Leonardo's Quick Picks. I will tell you that we already have 10 people who qualify for the next drawing. I did send Chris, our winner of last week, or the last drawing, the Leonardo's Quick Picks to I sent all his stuff to him, and I hope he gets it. Should get it today, maybe tomorrow. But it's going to be simple. Florida is going to be playing either Texas A&M or South Carolina on Wednesday night at 5 o'clock. So that's how long you have until you have to do it. This is the SEC softball tournament, if you don't know. How many runs are scored in the game? Total runs scored in the Florida versus whoever game. Look, you're just picking a number out of thin air, guys. Let's just face it. That's all you're doing. But we do have already 10 qualifiers, so keep it going, man. One guy qualified twice. I'm not going to mention his name because I don't want him to get big-headed. Anyway, so that is our Leonardo's quick picks. Leonardo's at Millhopper. We love Kyle over there. I need to go see him. I need to go get a Parmesan sandwich, man. Their Parmesan chicken sandwich is the best in the world. That's going to do it. I appreciate Robbie Andreu. Hopefully, Coach Spurrier Friday. If not, we'll have another great guest. One thing we do, pride ourselves, is getting great guests. And we love having it here on Another Dooley Noted Podcast, brought to you by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. We will see you on Friday either way. Until then, I am Pat Dooley. I am deep, I'm way back, and I am out of here.